Last week, the Reserve Bank of India, in a virtual event, launched India's Account Aggregator framework. In years to come, availing a loan, opening a bank account, getting an insurance policy, opening a mutual fund account, or enhancing your credit limit, all these financial functions will become much, much easier because of this revolutionary framework. What exactly is Account Aggregator? What are the challenges? How long will it take for a full-scale implementation of this framework? My name is Ashwin Manikandan. I am a reporter with the Economic Times, and I'm here to explain some of these aspects and answer some of these questions. The introduction of Fintech into the financial ecosystem meant that millions and millions of Indians had digital footprints across various financial institutions. If you open a bank account, or if you open a mutual fund policy, if you get an insurance, these institutions store your data in a siloed manner within their servers, which can only be accessed by these institutions. Now, earlier, what used to happen, because these data, these information used to be stored in silos, most financial institutions only had limited access to your profile, to how exactly you operate as a financial services customer. In 2016, four of India's top regulators met through a forum called FIDC and decided that India requires a consent-driven data framework, wherein financial institutions, as the first use case, would be able to exchange these siloed information and help customers, build better on digital data profiles. So essentially, here comes the Account Aggregator framework, which is essentially a consent-driven data architecture that allows two financial institutions to access data which used to be previously stored in silos, and thereby offer you more nuanced, more specialized services. It would be a revolutionary system in the sense an open data network for financial institutions. I mean, it's think of it like this: if you want to open a bank account and you're in a small town in India, the current way of doing it is you have to stand in the queue for you have to visit the bank branch. There is a queue. You have to talk to the banker. You have to collect all your financial statements from many years. You have to apply for that loan on a physical sort of form, and all these processes typically, opens door for like a lot of middlemen, a lot of physical sort of intermediation, which delays the process. There are frictions involved. But with an account aggregator framework, the account aggregator, the NBFC AA, can collate all this data in one single platform and give it to the bank wherein you are applying for a loan, give it to the NBFC wherein you have applied for credit, give it to the insurance company where you have applied for an insurance policy, and really it makes the life of the customer much easier, wherein they don't have to actually visit the branch, they don't have to sit and worry about collating all their financial history together, they don't have to worry about notarized sort of providing a notarized copy of their financial statements, their financial health. The account aggregator framework is also being integrated into several of the centralized data systems in India. For example, the first implementation of this is with the GST and the GST network. So if I'm a trader, if I'm a small business, with a PAN card and with a PAN registration, and I'm paying my GST on time, then the bank account can also see, what is the status of my GST sort of transactions, what my GST filings, and sort of and they can use that information as well to make the decision on whether or not they want to give me a loan. If I am a small trader who has filed GST, which sort of paints a picture on what sort of transactions I'm undertaking, what kind of business I'm into, and what my tax profile says about me as a, my establishment as a business, wherein they want to extend credit. That can make the lives of both the financial institution and the borrower, the prospective borrower, much easier. I mean, with due regulations, with due laws, with due sort of supervision, perhaps in the future this can be extended to, all the third-party databases maintained by the government, and probably it can be used to extend financial services to common people, common citizens, right? Who have till now been neglected largely for the need of a better data profile. So the name of the four companies are CAMS, FinServe, Cookiejar, FinSec AANESL, which have the operational license to function as NBFC AA right now. Two other companies are in advanced stages, like they have the provisional nod and from the Reserve Bank of India. These are PhonePe, which is the popular payment UPI app, PhonePe, and another company called Yodeling, which have provisional nods from Reserve Bank of India. Now, for the banks that are already live, there are 8 banks, which are the top banks in the country, namely SBI, HDFC, ICICI, IndusInd, Federal Bank, Kotak, Axis, and IDFC First Bank. So 8 banks are live currently, and it's expected that more banks will come on soon. A handful of NBFCs, your lending card, and a few other NBFCs are also live. So essentially what it means is customers of these banks can download one of the NBFC AA apps, which are available on the Play Store, and sort of facilitate the transaction flow, by giving various degrees of consent. The 4 NBFC AAs that we have mentioned earlier, they are already live. They're available on Play Store. Anybody can download it. Anybody with a bank account, in fact, once they download, there's a basic KYC check. They sort of, the app tries to authenticate your profile and sort of links it with all the other such common profiles which are linked to your Aadhaar or PAN card, and it sort of brings it all together, and you can see your profile in real time. There are mechanisms to give varying degree of consent as to which data I can allow for the banks to pull out, and which data I strictly don't want anybody to see, wherein I can withdraw the consent as well. So essentially, it's the ownership of consent of their own data. I mean, that's how the account aggregator framework, in theory, at least, wants itself to be sort of known among the citizens and the customers.